Tamque tu je je rezo ro je ma da de je ban jam ba sur je lom ba da bra je ba ga sha je ba ja wo zhan za dur je de lo na ro da ma ba ma la je gam bo ba pa mo zhe ba je wan ro ba ga je lo ma nam da jian je da nen de na zi ra dam je da la ma la ba la ye ji so so la so ye de jam zi nga la天着东见着白给了做大概罗就算着我的孙家老多说就咱们等着我的孙家老多兰州啊是我的孙家老多说着啊一些算着我的孙家老多说刚个天见着我人就按搞把没把接没把接把没把大没把我没帮助，没把他的都没东西没，只把你些些的把做不上去马上去，咱把那老乡子的真去在为了马姐姐，古松都就是浪大概就浪别的大概等把当生姐姐都家境帮着个生姐老多说，这是点嘞啊。Today our teaching is Jewel Lamp Press of Bodhicitta. At this time, I teach on there because many people have distinctions because of disease. Actually, there are many methods to solve the problems. Among them, the Bodhicitta is the best helper when we have problems in the mind. That's why I preferred this teaching. But if we don't experience on Bodhicitta, then I can't say Bodhicitta is the best solution. But if we experience on Bodhicitta, then this is the best solution of problems in the mind. Okay, so I'm I'm going to continuously. So today is the 21st, 21st. It says, Supreme Bodhicitta is the wish to remove every flaw from every living being and to bring about limitless good qualities in each of them. This is outstanding, even amongst the outstanding. Bodhicitta is not only just accumulation of happiness. It also means to remove suffering. Among all individual qualities, such as being good looking, having knowledge of many things, even Dharma knowledge, the single most important quality one could possess is Bodhicitta. Because without Bodhicitta, other knowledge can sometimes become cause of harming others and even oneself. If you have other knowledges and then add Bodhicitta, then your knowledges can become source of a great benefit for others and yourself. In addition, the best quality of any person is Bodhicitta. If you are blind or what is called deaf, it is not. It is no matter if you have Bodhicitta. People love you. Your Bodhicitta is like a magnet to draw in other. Among all forms of power, Bodhicitta is powerful because it can completely overcomes the basics of imity. Thank you. Which means your enemies will become your friends. So only Bodhicitta or love has this power. If you have many faults like stars in the night sky, but your Bodhicitta is like the sun, then with the sunrise in the eastern direction, all stars will be outshone. Your serious enemies are your grasping, attachment, and aversion. So, if you arouse Bodhicitta, I guarantee these serious enemies will disappear. Overcoming these enemies does not have to take a long time. You can do it right now. You don't even need to ask for the blessing of the Buddhas to make these enemies disappear. You can do it yourself with your Bodhicitta. That's why One of Buddha's Suttara says, "You are your protector." Next is verse 22. If one wants to benefit everyone, one needs Bodhicitta. If one wants to benefit everyone, if one wants to be, friend everyone, one needs Bodhicitta. If one wants to gain the confidence of all, one needs Bodhicitta. If one wants to be everyone's spiritual friend, one needs Bodhicitta. In this first line, it says, if one wants to benefit everyone, one needs Bodhicitta. This is very true. Very true. If you have Bodhicitta in your mind, then you can be of benefit to others. If you have no money, no resource, nor other abilities, still your speech can be of benefit to others. If you can't speak, still your smile can be benefit to others. Like in this story of a beggar who met the Buddha. The Buddha instructed him to be generous. The beggar asked the Buddha, "How can I be generous? I am a beggar. I have nothing to give." The Buddha replied, "You have your smile. Be generous with that." If you would like to keep your relationships with your friends or companions, then you should keep Bodhicitta in your mind. Bodhicitta is like the trunk of a tree and all the branches of the tree connected with the trunk. Perhaps you think that if you maintain a relationship through Bodhicitta, it's uncertain because the other person could rejects you, then lose the relationship. But this is not the cause, since you from your side care for them with Bodhicitta. It doesn't matter what they do because you have no expectations whether they reject you or not. You love them with the same pure mind of Bodhicitta. Nowadays, many people need to have trust from others. That's why they speak nicely, but best way to win others' trust is through Bodhicitta. So if you maintain a mind of Bodhicitta, that is best method for mutual benefit. Next is verse 33. Those who wish to help living beings consider it out of a feeling of love what would be of benefit to them, and they saw it was just this supreme Bodhicitta. Buddha carefully considered what among all things would be of greatest benefit to mother sentient beings, and he saw that it was Bodhicitta. That's why Buddha said that you can achieve Buddhahood through the six uh, paramitas, but you must combine them with Bodhicitta. If mother sentient beings are like a tree, Bodhicitta is like water. The Buddha is like the gardener. A gardener always works towards the flourishing and well being of his or her plants. He or her never works for their uh, destruction and bad result. In the same way, the Buddha always applied himself towards overall well-being and happiness. His mind has not a single negative wish towards mother sentient beings. So, undoubtedly, we can follow his path of Bodhicitta. Next is verse 24. The moon with its cooling beams eliminates pain. The sun, the jewel of the sky, dispels darkness, but they are not equal to the Bodhicitta that eradicates defilement. This is 24, right? the moon is cooling because it comes from the ocean. The king of demigods uh, steered the ocean, and the moon emerged. Then the king of gods took it away. Then he painted a rabbit in order to remember the Buddha. The reason he painted a rabbit was that once upon a time there was a sage who was staying in a solitary place. He practiced there for a long time, and he eats only fruits and wears the bark of a tree. Sometimes he practices fire puja. He finds a friend rabbit. Then they stay there a long time together and become very good friends. One year there is, isn't any rain, so all the trees dry up and the sage has no food. So he decided to go down to the village to ask for food. But the rabbit noticed that what the sage was about to do, and he was so sad. He bowed his head at the sage's feet and said, "Please don't leave me for so long. Don't go to the town, go to the village. Don't go to the village. Stay in a solitary place. Has great benefits for practice." But the sage didn't listen to him. Then rabbit said, "Eat today and go tomorrow." Then the sage thought there were some fruit somewhere, and he stayed that time. After that, the sage started to practice fire puja. The rabbit jumped into the fire. With tears rolling down his face, the sage asked the rabbit, "What are you doing?" The rabbit answered, "There's no food like fruit for you to eat, so eat my meat and stay here to practice." Then the sage promised him to stay there until end of his life. Then the sage, then the rabbit supplicates, saying, "A sage said he will stay in the solitary place for practice, and also I value the solitary place since the town has many distractions to meditation. By the power of this wish, may the gods make rain," and then suddenly it rained. And things began to grow again. There were fruit and green grass. Then, due to the kindness of the spiritual teacher rabbit, the sage practiced there, and he achieved 5 super knowledges. Then sage asked the rabbit, "Such great compassion and diligence as yours are for what?" Rabbit said, "Mother beings are like the blind, so they are for" ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... ... and leading them on the Buddha's stage and paths. So I share this story because perhaps you are wondering why there is the rabbit on the moon, and also yeah, uh, the sun removes visible darkness without effort. It only appears and darkness is gone. Therefore, the moment Bodhicitta arises in the mind, effective emotions disappear. Next is verse 25. Bodhicitta is the moon of the mind. Bodhicitta is the sun of the mind. Bodhicitta is the jewel of the mind. Bodhicitta is the nectar of the mind. We'll see. Okay. Bodhicitta is the moon of mind because it can remove the fire of anger, and it draws waves of compassion from the ocean of mind. Compassion is very important quality of mind. I will share another story with you. If you have sleep sleep deprivation, then this story is to put you to sleep. So you can sleep. Mm, some okay. Sometimes ago in India, when Dharma was declining, there were three serious attacks on it. Then there was a fully ordained, fully ordained nun named Gelungma Salviuzel. Salviuzel, sorry, Salvitrim. Salvitrim. She felt that she couldn't protect the Dharma and make it flourish. So she decided to get married. So she could have a son who, who would be able to protect the Dharma and help it flourish. Then she met with a king and gave birth to a sangha. Then she married a Brahman, and gave birth to a son, Vasubindu. Vasubindu. When they grow older, they asked her, "What is my father's profession?" She answered, "I did not give back my voice, and give birth for you to follow your father's profession. I give I gave back my vows and give birth to you for protecting Dharma and making it flourish for the sake of mother sentient beings. So you should go to learn Dharma and practice it." And then Vasubindu met Pintita, and he followed him. Then he became a great scholar. Then he helped the Dharma to flourish wonderfully. Asanga went to a holy place which was called Ruochakang. Ruochakang means, I think, bird's lake, maybe mountain of a bird's lake. There are two holy places, same name, one in Tibet, one in India, one in Tibet. In order to this, anyway, this is in India, a holy place, South India. But I haven't been there. I haven't been both of these. In order to practice and supplicate material Buddha to appear. So he practiced in a cave there for six years. But had no signs. Right? Have no signs of accomplishment. Then he thought he will not be successful, so he left his cave, and on the road he came upon a person. That person was Rabin, a giant piece of metal with a soft cloth. Asanga asked him, "Why are you doing this?" He replied, "I am doing this in order to make a needle." Then Asanga thought it would be impossible to make a needle bear rubbing with soft cloth. But if it is possible, this person's life is not longer enough. But samsaric people work hard for things that have no essence. Compared to them, I am not diligent enough. He decided to go back to his cave and practice there for 3 more years. Still, he received no good signs. He thought to himself, "Now, really, this time I'm not going to get anywhere." Then he came out as he was walking. He came to a man who was dipping, right? Who was dipping a feather in a little water. Dipping a feather in a little water and brushing it against the side of a mountain. Asanga asked him, "Why are you doing this?" The man replied, "This mountain is blocking the sun from entering my house. I must remove it." The Asanga thought to himself, I'm not making enough efforts. He went back again in his cave and practiced for another 3 years. But still, he had no good signs to encourage him. So he left his cave. Again on the road, he came to a female dog whose hind legs were not working. The lower half of her body had many uh, what is called mogs, mogs, magus, megus, right? Like some bugs, mooks. Sorry, I can't read this. maggots, maggots, many maggots. And still she barked at him angrily. Then Asanga felt great compassion for this dog. Then thought, if I pick the what is maggots, if I pick the maggots up with my hands, they will dry. So chose he chose to use his tongue. On this dog's body, there was a lot of poos, right? Poos. So he closed his eyes and bent forward to pick up maggots with his tongue, but his tongue touched on the ground. He opened his eyes and saw the dog had disappeared. And there instead was Buddha Maitreya. Then he said to Buddha Maitreya, I practiced so long to see you, but you never showed yourself. Do you have no compassion? He was be as a child of Maitreya Buddha. Then Maitreya Buddha said him, I was always with you, but you had deep obscurations and a lack of compassion. Lack of compassion. Your practice removed the obscurations, and just know you give arise to great compassion, so you were able to see me. So our Yadam deities are being always with us, really. Uh, so if we practice on compassion and Bodhicitta, then we will see them. If you then Maitreya Buddha said, if you don't believe me, put me on your shoulder, and go to town. Ask people. Asanga went to town and asked to many people. Do you see the Buddha Maitreya? He asked to many people, and nobody could see him except old women who saw a sick dog on his shoulder. So when generate compassion like a mother with no arms whose child has been swept, swept away by a big river. As strong as the mother's wish to protect her child should be our compassion towards mother sentient beings. Mother sentient beings come. uh, this type of compassion was generated by Asanga and was Vesubindu. In conclusion, their uh, influence was such that Vasubindu was included in the ornaments, six ornaments, and Asanga was named one of the two supreme ones. So you could be see on the tankas, they are Nalinda masters. Nagarjuna, Asanga, Vasubindu, they are Nalinda. In Nalinda has great at great masters. Uh, so these they are Asanga and Vasubindu. They are including them. Mm, Bodhicitta is the son of the mind, the son of the mind, because it can remove deep darkness of ignorance from the universe of mind. Bodhicitta is the jewel of the mind because it fulfills all gorgeous wishes. Bodhicitta is the nectar of the mind because whoever tests it, becomes joyful, drunk on the blissful stage. Okay. Next is verse 26. If you want to help yourself, produce excellent bodhicitta. If you want to help others, produce excellent bodhicitta. If you want to serve the doctrine, produce bodhicitta. If you want to path to bliss, produce bodhicitta. There is no question. We all want to help ourselves. But until now, we chose grasping in order to help ourselves. But grasping is deceptive, so we do not find happiness. Now we know bodhicitta is the best helper, so we practice it. Actually, we all need to help ourselves, but if you don't want to help yourself, which means you need to help others. There are many ways to help others, but best one is bodhicitta. The essence of Buddha Dharma is bodhicitta. Monasteries have to become environments of bodhicitta. Monks and nuns and sangha have to become practitioners of bodhicitta, because the essence of Buddha Dharma is bodhicitta. If you are not in the monastery, still your body is a temple made for Dharma practice. Your mind is one who practices bodhicitta. There is sangha. So you don't have the excuse of saying, I have no temple to practice bodhicitta in. Next is verse 27. Bodhicitta, which cause incomparable, what's incomparable, incomparable enlightenment to be obtained, is water, since it washes the stains of non-virtue, is a hand, since it gathers virtue, is a whip, since it urges one to the holy Dharma. Perhaps you have often heard from spiritual masters, you should practice Dharma. Perhaps you have often heard from them, meditate or do visualizations. Actually, what they try to say is change your mind. The change your mind means you transform your mind into bodhicitta. Why do we transform our minds into bodhicitta? Because we would like to achieve incomparable enlightenment. But without rely on cause and effect, we cannot achieve that. Of course, if our normal worldly activities can lead us to Buddha's stage, then we can just keep doing that. But those activities have not and will not manifest. The enlightenment means pure happiness, joy, and bliss. Before attaining enlightenment, there is a sign which is the beginning of joy and happiness in the mind, or sometimes there is a reduction of your suffering and afflictive emotions. These signs manifest through your practice of bodhicitta, not through worldly activity. Worldly actives. Through worldly activities appear the opposite of a sign of joy and happiness. For example, if you become famous, uh, then your tensions increase, and that make you less joy and happy. But your attachment to remain famous gets stronger and stronger. So you cannot let it go. But here one special exception. You become famous without expecting it, and remain without tension. This is due to your becoming famous through the power of bodhicitta practice. Perhaps you don't know it is the power of bodhicitta that has made this happen. Here I am reminded, uh, reminded of a true story. In Tibet, there was a great guru whose name was Kinchin Jimin Punso. Maybe you have heard of him. He was a great scholar and was in charge of Sept University of Buddhism. Uh, One time, a yogi came to see him, and they talked many hours about the Dharma view. After they talked, the yogi left. Then Kinchin Jinping told another Khenpo who was near him. This yogi already achieved the path of joining, but he did not know that himself. So, learning the Dharma is very important. Likewise, perhaps you become famous through Bodhicitta, but you don't know it. So you should learn about Bodhicitta. Next is verse 28. The 100 light rayed Bodhicitta sun does not cause the 100 petaled lotus to open, does not cause the white water lily to close, does not cause the marsh to dry. The 100 light rayed Bodhicitta sun does not cause the 100 petaled lotus to open, does not cause the white water lily to close, does not cause the marsh to dry. Actually, the sun and moon bring great benefits, but sometimes instead of benefit, they bring harm. But Bodhicitta never has that fault. Bodhicitta is the cause of happiness and the result of happiness. The moon is naturally cooling, but some flowers don't like it. It's light, so when the moon shines, they close. And some lotus, they don't like the sunlight, so the sun shines, these lotus close up. All mother thinking beings are like these different kinds of flowers, but they need Bodhicitta all time. Even Buddha and Yidam deities, they need Bodhicitta, but they have. Next is verse 29. Did I read 27? Oh, good. 28, 29, right? From now enter the heart of enlightenment. I pray to the Guru Triple Jim to have such an aspiration as may I not be separated from Bodhicitta, and to be blessed to make such a prayer. From now until enlightenment, we should hold Bodhicitta more dearly than our own heart. There are two classifications of Bodhicitta. First one is aspiration Bodhicitta, and the second one is active Bodhicitta. Aspiration Bodhicitta means that before we take a certain path, we have become willing to take that path. What that means that we are willing to help others or joyfully wish that all be happy in their minds, and healthy in their bodies. Second kind of bodhicitta is achieve bodhicitta. This means we undertake active that benefit others. But don't think that this means that the action that benefit others has to be great benefit, like liberating someone from the ocean of cyclic existing. If you make others' minds happy through a single word, this is also effective bodhicitta practice. Even if you move a stone on the road to the side, creating a smooth path for others, that is active bodhicitta practice. When you supplicate the triple gem for a moment on behalf of a single ant or tree, this is also active bodhicitta practice. Next is verse 30. A tired traveler sweltering from the heat is happy to find the leafy green shade of a tree. A wanderer worn out traveling the paths of existence is happy when precious bodhicitta grows. I like this example because this example makes me remember when I was in South India. During the hot season, the monastery would give more than 1 month vacation for the year. At that time, I rented an old house in a secluded place. Secluded, right? Secluded place far away from monastery. I did retreat there. During that retreat, I memorized some Dharma text. During the morning and evening, it was cool inside the house. But in the middle of the day, it would get too hot. So I would go outside. There were no people around, so I would take my text and recite it under a tree. There were very few big trees in the area, and I would sit under one of them. Its shared was very beneficial for me. I don't remember if at that time I thought of it as Bodhicitta activity, but now I confidently can say that it was. Likewise, when we have problems in the mind, we give rise Bodhicitta. It will create shade for us from the heat and intensity of our difficulties or those problems. In our life, everything is possible. Sometimes we get great things, and sometimes we fall into difficulty situations. It is even possible to think now I really want to commit suicide. Suicide. If at that how to say exact moment you turn your mind on Bodhicitta, it is granted you will be released from your destructive thoughts. So please, you keep this part in your mind. It's possible that at some point it will help you. There is a saying, unuseful things may one day become useful. Perhaps you think this is just my suggestion, so you can easily ignore it. You are right, this is my suggestion, and you can ignore it, but practitioners have three levels: those of highest capacity, those of middling capacity, and those of those of a lesser capacity. Those of a highest capacity don't judge a person; they judge what the person says and practices on it. So I believe you are the practitioners of highest capacity, but this does not mean you should follow me. It means you take up what I say if there's some benefit. If not, then you can leave it. This also makes you practitioner of the highest capacity. Okay. Probably today we will stop here, and we will keep going next Sunday, and after what is 3:30 we will meditate together. And thank you very much. And I deeply rejoice all of your listening Dharma, especially about Bodhicitta. So thank you very much again. Sunamdeya Tamje Zibanye Tolanye Bedanan Bazede Jigana Balan Java Sibon Zolan Rowa Rowa Jo Chanjo Sumjo Rambo Mache Banan Jijurje Jibanyamba Meba Kone Kondon Bewa Jo May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. Thank you. Yes, nice.